Hey guys, you're watching PRK Radio. If this is your first time here, I'm Jimmy, KI5PRK. If you're returning, thank you so much, and you already know who I am. I may have caved under the pressure. Yeah, I might have. There's a few videos floating around about this radio, because it's the new radio, I guess, to get. I mean, we know what it is. You saw the thumbnail. It's the UV5R Mini. I've got opinions about this radio, and I know Baofengs in general get either a lot of love or a lot of hate. But I have a unique outlook on radios like the UV5R Mini and others. I know that people talk about they're not clean radios, or they're crappy, or they're from China. That's cool. You know, I mean, if that bothers you, don't buy it. That's fine. And if it bothers you that other people buy it, I don't know, maybe you get some help. I think radios like this have a place in the hobby. I really do. I think that there are plenty of high dollar radios out there for people who can afford them. But I think radios like this and other radios in this price point, they serve a purpose. They get people into amateur radio who might not have the budget otherwise, if it weren't for radios that are priced like this. This also has a fantastic disposability factor, in my opinion. You drop this thing in a mud puddle, who cares? Because it costs you like 15, 20 bucks. You can just pull another one out of a box and you're good to go. So there is something to be said for its disposability, factor, if you will. I don't know if that's the thing. We could talk about whether or not it's clean. I'm not going to be doing a spectral purity test or whatever. I don't have the equipment for that, and I'm not going to do it because others have already done it. You want to see that? There's other channels to go check out. The Smokin' Ape has a fantastic video about testing this radio. Spoiler alert, his radio's failed. Shocker. However, before you start pointing your fingers and going, hey, I told you so, a couple of other somewhat well-known YouTubers, Josh, Ham Radio Crash Course, he's got a little tiny channel, you may have heard of it. He tested his radio, or actually both of them, because he had a 2-pack, and it came back clean. Both of them were clean. T.O. From Temporarily Steve, KM9G from Temporarily Offline, he tested his radio clean. What does that mean? Probably that there's some quality control at play here. Some radios probably leave the factory and they don't test clean, while the majority probably do. And that's just how it is. And Ape got his 2 given to him, I believe. Go watch his video and he'll give you all the deets. I'm not going to get into it, but yeah, his radio's failed, but others have passed. So I don't know what that means, right? And I'm still wanting someone to kind of, scratch the surface a little deeper when it comes to spurious emissions, right? What does it mean? So this radio puts out 5 watts on its fundamental and somewhere less than 5 watts on any of its harmonics that it might have. And if those harmonics are above a certain level, could they be heard? Sure. Is it possible? Absolutely. I think we get hung up in the fact that, oh God, it's dirty. These radios are being bought by a lot of people because they're cheap and easy to get. You can get them at your local. I got mine off of Amazon. Well, I guess I should back up. Full disclosure, I bought these with my own money. No one sent me these. I just felt like I wanted to make a video from a little different perspective about this radio. If you're into like APRS and all that kind of stuff, this isn't your radio because it won't do any of that. But if you just want a radio that will talk down the street, around the block, whatever, this will do that all day long. It's easily programmed. You can program it from the keypad, which I did today. I have not downloaded the app onto my phone. I don't know that I will. I don't know if I will download the app, to be honest with you. I might, but even if I don't, it's pretty easy to program from the keypad. I think there's a place for radios like this. And I know people are going to be like, well, you're crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. Okay, maybe I don't. But you can't deny the sales numbers. I mean, these radios are, people are buying these things because they're cheap. These radios are inexpensive. They're not the best quality, but they get the job done. And in a pinch, you know, we also like to say the best radio is the one you have. You know, a lot of people getting into the hobby will buy something like this because it's inexpensive and they don't know if they're really going to like the hobby or not. And I'm okay with that because I think this ends up being a gateway drug to more radios, better quality radios. It was for me. My first radio when I got my license as a tech was a UV5R, and then I quickly bought a Yaesu FT3D or whatever, and I still have both radios. I have a problem when it comes to handhelds. I really like them, and this one's so cute. But you know, this thing is not the best radio on the market, and I don't think it's trying to be the best radio on the market. I think it's trying to be small, and it is very small. But I also think it does the radio thing, and I think we can't deny that. It will do it, and it will do it just fine. It doesn't have to do APRS. It doesn't have to do KISS TNC or any of that kind of stuff. If all you want to do is talk on local repeaters or do some simplex with your, you know, with your other buddy that has his ham radio license or her ham radio license, this will do that. No problem. I can talk around my neighborhood with this thing. And, you know, in an emergency like a you know, severe thunderstorm or something like that, I can tune into a local net. I don't have to talk. I just need to listen. And I might want to get some valuable information that way. I think a lot of times we forget that probably more important than talking on the radio is listening on the radio. I do a lot of listening rather than just talking because I think it's interesting to hear what others have to say. I don't necessarily have to chime in, but sometimes it's just fun to just listen. So, and you can absolutely do that with this. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of mixed emotions about Baofeng in general. I've heard people say, you know, I would never buy one of those Chinese pieces of whatever. Okay, that's fine. This little radio, if all you're wanting to do is hit repeaters in your local area, maybe talk on a net from time to time, you're a new ham, you want to jump on a new ham net or whatever, you can absolutely do that with this radio, and there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not going to sit here and go over all the features because that's been done several times already, but I'll give an opinion on a radio or on this radio and radios like this, and I think they do serve a purpose. I think they have a place in the market, and until Yaesu and ICOM and whoever puts out a radio, a lesser expensive radio to compete with these things are filling a void. Like it or not, they are filling a void from a marketing perspective. They are filling a void in the market because the big Japanese radio companies aren't willing to do that. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments down below what you think about this radio or radios like this. Maybe I'll buy a tiny SA and figure out how to use it, and I'll test the dang thing if people want to see that. Let me know in the comments. Do you want to see me test this? I don't know why. You know, I guess statistically speaking, I've watched the 8 test his and it failed. I watched Josh test 2 and it passed, and I watched TO test 1 and it passed. So out of 4 radios that I've seen on YouTube that were tested, 25% of those failed. That was it. 75% passed with flying carpets. So I don't know. What's your opinion? Is this, you know, the devil, or is it just a cheap Chinese radio that may or may not be clean and will do basic radio things? Anyway, that's all I have to say about the UV5R Mini. It's just so dang cute. I mean, look at this thing. It's itty bitty. It's literally in the palm of my hand. That's going to be a wrap for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Leave me a comment down below. Am I off the mark? I don't know, maybe. If you like this kind of video, let me know down in the comments. Hit that like button. Subscribe. I'd really appreciate that too. I've been overwhelmed with all the love that I've gotten on the channel so far. This is fantastic. It's growing slowly, but it's growing, and I really appreciate that. Thank you, everybody who has subscribed and left me comments. Everyone's been so supportive. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Seriously, this was just, let me see if I can do this, and it's really turned into something that I kind of enjoy doing. So on top of learning amateur radio, I'm learning how to make videos and put them on YouTube. So let me know what your thoughts are about this radio down in the comments below. Be nice. You don't have to be rude. Make a point, but be nice about it. Until next time, be good to one another out there. Love you guys to death. 7-3.